Hi, my name's Mick Grucock and I'm a UK-based self-taught amateur bowyer, and in this series of videos I hope to show you how you can make your very first wooden bow. When I made my first bow, I really had no idea what I was doing, but I did know that I wanted to be able to harvest a branch or a sapling or a log and turn it into a self bow, that is, a bow made from one single piece of wood. So the tools I chose had that in mind: harvesting, preparing and shaping a wooden bow. My choice of bows is nearly always English longbows, but these tools will make many other styles of bows, providing they're self bows and made purely and simply from one piece of wood. So here we go with the first tool that I chose, and it's this, a folding pocket saw. It's sharp, perfect for taking down small branches and indeed trees with a diameter of 4 to 5 inches. A great tool and inexpensive as well. Check out the description below for links to this tool and others that I'm going to show you. After harvesting the wood, the next job is to shape the bow, and I chose this tool, a Gerber parang, to do that. It's sharp and I find it really good for that job, to shape a bow, but other people use hand axes. This is an inexpensive one. It's not very good, it's not that sharp, but it does work. Choose either. These tools are perfect for shaping your very first bow. As with all the tools I'm showing you, there are budget options, but please do try to afford the very best you can. It's a very worthwhile investment. I tend to use the axe and the parang simply to rough shape my bows. Working beyond that, I much prefer using one of these. This is a draw knife, and the first time I used one of these was an absolute revelation. They're superb bits of kit for bow making. Indeed, you can make a bow from start to finish using a draw knife. You can use them to take off the bark, you can use them to shape the bow, you can even use them as a scraper for final finishing. I highly recommend affording one of these, a draw knife. And right now, vintage draw knives are readily available on eBay. I counted 50 in the UK and in the US yesterday. Go out and get a draw knife. I promise you, it will make a huge difference to your bow making. Choose your draw knife carefully. There are many versions available, designed to do different jobs. The large one here is great for removing large amounts of wood very quickly. The small round-handled one is great for detailed work and for finishing. The small one with straight handles is not actually a draw knife at all. It's a splitting knife, a kindling knife, but it works great as a draw knife as well. One of the challenges of making a self bow is dealing with the knots and the bumps and the hollows that you'll inevitably find in a piece of wood. And the go-to tool for me in these situations is this. This is a wood rasp, and I do recommend buying the very best wood rasp that you can afford. Cheap ones are worthless, good ones are priceless. This one is coarse on one side and smooth on the other. I've owned this for years. It's really well worth having a good rasp. Again, there are many types of rasp on the market. The red handled one is a Shinto Japanese rasp. It's great for very rapid removal of wood, but it's not very good for finishing. The orange handled rasp, however, is perfect for finishing work. If you can afford both, do so. If not, I would suggest you start out with a rasp similar to the orange handled one. This one is made by Barco. It's difficult to explain, but there are some tools that are an absolute joy to own and to use. And my favourite by a long way is this. This is a Spokeshave. It's a tool that you draw towards you, or indeed you can push it away from you, and it takes off long lovely curls of wood. It's great for working down the tips of a bow. I highly recommend one of these. They're not expensive, they're easy to set up, easy to sharpen. This one is really cheap, but it's a great companion. I really do enjoy using a Spokeshave. A high quality Spokeshave can cost you a great deal, but on this occasion do look at the budget versions. This blue handled one was really inexpensive, but don't dismiss the vintage versions. This wooden one here cost a few pounds on a flea market and works brilliantly. One of the great pleasures of bow making for me is gradually seeing the character of the wood emerge as I get nearer and nearer to completing a bow. This one is made from hawthorn, and the grain is absolutely delightful to look at. It's a beautiful wood, and it's a characterful and rather wonky bow. But the finish on this bow is achieved by using tools such as these. These are called cabinet scrapers. They're merely flat plates of steel with a sharp and keen edge, and they enable you to take fine shavings of wood from the bow. And they give you this beautiful, almost unique finish. You can of course make your own scrapers, use a sharp piece of glass, or indeed a knife. But these cabinet scrapers came in a set, and I find them very useful, and they're inexpensive and well worth the money. So those are 6 tools that I find invaluable when I'm making bows, but I did say there were 7. And the 7th is not really a tool at all. It's something I would call resourcefulness. It's using this and these to make do with what you've got. If you can't afford 6 tools, don't worry, start with 1. Resourcefulness will see you all the way through your bow making career. It'll avoid you giving up when the odds seem stacked against you. It'll avoid you doing all sorts of things. Be resourceful and you'll be successful when making bows.